Good day, everybody. This is John Scarborough. Wanted to talk a little bit today about kind of how long it took us to get a week's worth of paddocks rolled up. We had 1 week's worth of paddocks. Most of them we were moving once a day, and then today we moved, and then most of them we were moving once a day, and then there was one paddock we moved. We did a 2-day where they stayed in that paddock for 2 days, and that's just because we couldn't figure out how to make the water work in, if we would have split that paddock up. So we're actually able to do 1-day moves in most of them. But anyway, so it took us, let's see, so it took us about 45 minutes to get all of that rolled up. Now that's not including putting it out. Me and my wife, rolling it up is usually quite a bit easier. Me and my wife came out here to get it put out, and I think it took us maybe an hour and a half to get it put out. So I mean, you can see it takes, that's 2 hours and 15 minutes that it took of work to set up and then tear back down for those paddocks. Now I'm about to move over to our property and get them set up over there, and that's a little bit of a harder spot to go because we've got all creeks to go through. We just moved them into here. This is a place that was grazed probably 30 days ago. Normally this time of year it would be ready to graze. Technically I can graze them now here, but I don't really want to. So what we're actually doing is we've got to run them through this place and across into my place. Ideally, when you do that, you set up a hot wire lane running through this place so they never have a chance, because you see them right now, they're picking through it right now as soon as we put them out in there. But my problem as a small-time operation in that deal is I don't have enough wire or post or help to get a lane set up here and to go through and set up a week's worth of paddocks. Now I could set up one paddock out there and then do this, and it's just not something I'm prepared for yet. So what do? Most of the time I try not to skip pastures like this, and I just make it to where wherever they go right into the next pasture and they're good to go. So that's kind of how we do that. This specific time it did not work out that way, and we kind of had to do it this way. But anyway, they're actually moving up here. I think they'll move just fine here in a minute when we get ready to move them back across the road. My wife will be here in about an hour, and she'll help me get them moved across the road. But anyway, so that's just kind of how that worked out. But I kind of wanted to just tell y'all a little bit about what it took to do it. It's really not that time consuming when you do it right. What really takes the real time is when you start doing your bad areas, like trying to go through creeks and stuff like that. And that's one reason why we haven't really gotten into doing it every single day consistently yet. That's one reason, is because we have a lot of places to move them every day would be a wire. You have to go through creeks, and you end up doing it all on foot. It's just difficult to do it on four-wheelers the way you see a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there grazing, and they've either got a large enough herd or they've got nice enough property that they can pretty much skip their creeks or something like that, and they don't have to do it as often. But for us, it's almost every day. This pasture is the only pasture that we've actually gotten through where we're able to do it without going through any creeks. But that's why we had that 2-day move over there where it was 2 days instead of 1, was because we had to give them that creek area instead of putting a cross fence going through the creek. If we would have gone through the creek, we could have actually given them water access to that creek, let them graze on this side and then graze on that side as well. But anyway, you got to kind of work with what you've got. So that's something we've got kind of run into, and that's something we're slowly working out of. Eventually we'll have more water and stuff like that in our paddocks and things like that, and other sources of hot wire. And y'all can see here these patties. These are awful patties. They're very, very runny because we've gotten into that really deep spring flush, and there's just no more brown grass. So normally we try to keep enough brown mixed in with the green to where we don't ever have that. Normally I have this right here about 4 days to 1 week maybe out of the year, and I'm actually having more of it this time, and it's kind of hurting. I mean, the cows are not, they're not holding the flesh like they ought to when they're running it all out like that. That's not something we like to see, and that's why I really like the brown grass. But the brown, we just didn't have the summer grass from last year. That was grazed off quite a bit quicker this go around, so we just didn't have the brown and green. So that's one reason why I really like to, I tell people to make sure you leave enough brown residual behind, is because even though you might think that you're wasting it, which you're not. I mean, we've talked about how it's it's fertility for the soil and everything, but even if it wasn't fertility for the soil, that little bit of brown matter is what allows them to absorb the nutrients from all this green. So right now in this pasture, we just didn't have any more brown. So they're not absorbing near the nutrients that they could have out of this green. So that right there ought to tell you that you're not wasting anything. Because right now this is waste. When you see cow patties like that, that is wasted food. I mean, it's still fertility and all like that, but it's food, it's grass, solar energy, nitrogen. It's grass that ran right through them, and they didn't hardly absorb near the nutrients that you want. So like I said, that's why I like to see a lot more brown than this one. But anyway, you work with what you have, and last summer we just didn't have the grass that we were hoping to have. This summer we're probably going to have a drought. But I got more videos about how we're working around that and trying to make sure that we can avoid any problems and continue to work through all of that. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I just wanted to talk just a little bit about that. I mean, it took us, like I said, it was about 2 hours and 15 minutes probably total, but it was once with my wife and then with me when I get ready to go set up. And this was a really good scenario. So when I get ready to go set up a paddock myself in a minute, I'm probably going to do another video on how long it took me to set up a week's worth of paddocks, if I can actually get them all set up. And I'll probably break that up and have maybe not a week's worth, but set up as many as I can, and then I'll probably do another video talking about that. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to show that, kind of touch base with y'all, let y'all see how all that goes. So guys, I really would appreciate it if y'all would hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, guys. I really do appreciate that. That helps so much. I put out all these videos, and I've got almost getting close to 300 videos out there, guys, and I feel like I've got some really decent content, and I get a lot of views. I just don't have a lot of subscribers. I would really appreciate it if y'all would just hit that subscribe button. That helps my channel so much. Thank you so much, guys. Like and subscribe, please.